This is QTV News. I am Mariettu Sidibe and thanks for joining us. First, the headlines. In today's news, we hear what happened when the president's nationwide tour made its way to Lower River region. We hear about a $12 million Dalasis boost to education announced during the president's nationwide tour. As the TRRC sittings in Sibanor enter their final day, we hear more tales of witch hunting, including from a woman who was locked up in a police cell with her young baby. A guidebook on security sector reform for media professionals to foster an understanding among the media of security sector reforms and governance has been handed over to the GPU. For more on these and other stories, stay tuned. And now, the news in detail. President Barrow has arrived in the Lower River region to a rousing welcome on day 10 of his ongoing nationwide tour. Aliu Sise reports.
The president wrapped up his stay in the Central River region on Wednesday afternoon with two meetings in Dalaba and Gisadi. The people of the area gathered to interact with the visiting president, using it as an opportunity to raise their concerns with the hope of them being addressed by the government. The president was seen off at the border between CRR and LRR, where the people of the region, led by the governor, had gathered to welcome the president.
The president has ended his stay in the Central River region. As you can see, this is the border divide between Central River region and the Lower River region. He is now being seen off by the governor of the region, Abasanyang. On this side, there is the people of LRR who have come to welcome the Gambian leader into their own region.
The president held his first meeting in the region at Wellingaraba. Here, the people appealed for, among other things, an upgraded market, electricity, and an improved water supply. They also want the Wellingaraba Basic Cycle School to be upgraded to a senior school and also pleaded for the construction of the Wellingaraba Barokunda Road. According to the people of Jara East, they are united behind the president and his national development plan. In turn, President Barrow said his tour is not a political one, but a constitutionally mandated one. The concerns raised by them, he said, are equally concerns for his government. He assured them of his government's commitment to national development, and as in other stops, he used the meeting to advocate unity and peace for the progress of the country. He extended an open arm to all Gambians to join him and develop the country. He used the meeting to chronicle the successes registered so far by his government. These include the Lamenkota Passamas Road, Banjul Road Project, and the major road and bridges in URR. On Thursday, the president held meetings in Jalangbere, Medina Center, and Soma. Earlier on, he visited a refurbished abattoir at Wellingaraba. Reporting for QTV News from Jara Soma, I am Aliu Sise.
The World Bank has approved $12 million for higher education in the Gambia. This was revealed during a meeting between President Barrow and a World Bank delegation. Aliu Sise reports.
The announcement was made by Anna Marakabagambi, Executive Director at the World Bank Group, shortly after meeting President Barrow at Mahmoud Fana Village in the Central River Region South. President Barrow is currently touring the country as mandated by the Constitution.
We are here as a World Bank delegation to deliver two pieces of good news to the head of state. The first one is that today, on this day, the World Bank Board approved $12 million for higher education for the government of Gambia. And it is a good day because it happened the day that we are meeting with the head of state. The second one was that we were sharing with the head of state the progress that has been made in terms of the programs that the World Bank has been implementing.
For his part, Nathan Mbliti, the World Bank's country director, said they had fruitful discussions with the president.
Really an honor to be here today in the Gambia and to have had the audience with His Excellency. We had a very fruitful and frank discussion. We discussed various matters, including macroeconomic management, which we are committed to continue to supporting the government with. In addition to that, We committed to continue to work in the health sector, in the agriculture sector, as well as in strengthening public sector management. And we were very impressed by the level of commitment by both the president, of course, but also the members of his cabinet who were in the meeting. So we leave today very encouraged by the commitments of the government, but we also commit on behalf of the World Bank to work in very close partnership with the entire government, but more importantly with the people of the Gambia.
The delegation was led by Mamburin Jai, Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs, who welcomed the development.
I think it's the evidence that we are performing. It is the facts that have now come out. We have registered very positive progress, and we know that things will be unfolding in a positive. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I think we have more positive news that are coming, and what we do is sustaining the performance. And I'm sure we can do it, and we will do it, and we'll continue to perform very well.
The financial support will help improve teaching and learning at the tertiary education level. Reporting for QTV News from Mount Fana, I am Aliou Cissé.
The Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission on Thursday concluded its public hearing on the witch hunting exercise in Sibanor, West Coast region. The final day heard testimony from a married couple from Sintet and 2 other witnesses who narrated their ordeal with the witch doctors. Babkar C has more.
A married couple from Sintet, Lamin Baji and Nyima Jaju, were the first to testify before the Truth Commission to narrate their ordeal with the witch doctors. Lamin Baji told the commission that his father, Bulli Baji, was the head of the village as the first settlers of Sintet. Lamin recalled the incident of the witch hunters invading the village. Baji said he used to work for Yaya Jame's farm, and on a fateful morning, he saw Solo Bojang and his team preparing to move to Sintet with the witch doctors. There, he said to himself that he would close early and head to Sintet to witness what was going on. When he arrived in Sintet, Baji said he found his compound closed and the village like a ghost town. Nyima Jaju said she was at a naming ceremony on a Monday when news came that witch hunters were in the village. She said many ran and entered the bush, but she decided to go home, where the men dressed in red came to her compound with a mirror, told her that she is not a witch, but had a sickness that needed to be treated in Kanilai. Nyima said her in-law, the husband's father, ran away to Dasilame, where the police followed him the following morning to arrest him, but could not get him. She said the police then came for her and her husband's mother and took them to Sibanor police station, where they spent 7 days in a police cell with her little baby.
Did you complain to the OC about the condition of the place, given that you had a baby?
Ina na ko ni wosi OC ya le bang ka nyin kamala ko de na no le bebu.
Fango ya jele ke bendon dila je wato men na katon kabinim be jila moto ko no. A folo la botana fonko station ko na lota jimba wala atele oda di police dindingol la yendundi kono to abiji man tu american na yengine fo nyako bulli tata dame nimma fombe tula janni.
They didn't charge us with anything.
Yengine sa feste menobal.
What they told us was that the place that Bulli went to, if you don't tell us, you will remain here.
Nyima said they were never charged but were threatened and told that if they failed to reveal Lamin's father's location, they wouldn't be released. She said her husband's mother never regained her health after leaving the Sibanor police station till the day she died. For Lamin, he said he had to leave the job he was doing in Yaya Jame's Kanilai farm and return home to be with his father, who died less than 2 years after the incident. Next to appear was Mati Sanyang, a native of Sintet who also used to work for the former president at his farm in Kanilai. Mati recalled receiving information that witch doctors were coming to the village, and so they decided to run to a neighboring village called Kabong, next to Kazamas. She said while running for their lives, the paramilitaries, soldiers and men dressed in red were running after them. At Kabong, the security agents followed them and captured her, along with many others, all of whom were taken to Kanilai. She said at Kanilai, they were given food, asked to surrender their belongings, and made to drink the concoction.
They did not leave anything on me. They undressed you just as your mother gave birth to you, just as a little baby.
Jara Koli of Fonyi Sintet, the final witness, said the incident of the 2009 witch hunting exercise found her in Tabokoto, and when the news reached her, she decided to go back to Sintet immediately because of her mother's health condition. When she arrived home, her mother had already been taken away by the witch doctors to Kanilai. Jara said she found her father home, who told her that he left her mom in Kanilai. Madam Koli said her father told her that the men dressed in red, accompanied by state security agents, came to the house, found her mother inside, and forcefully took her barefoot along with the father. She said her mother was forced to undress naked, made to drink the concoction twice, and forced to accept an allegation that she ate 2 people. The Truth Commission will now move to Nyomi in the North Bank region on Monday for another week of hearings on the so-called 2009 witch hunting exercise. Babukarsi, QTV News.
A guidebook on security sector reform for media professionals has been handed to the Gambia Press Union by the Geneva Center for Security Sector Governance. The aim is to foster an understanding among the media of security sector reforms and governance. Momodo Lamin Choi was at the handing over ceremony, and he now reports.
This support by the Geneva Center for Security Sector Governance is not only part of the promotion of security sector reform process, but also seeks to reform how security matters are reported by journalists. It is also hoped to raise standards in reporting security-related matters by providing media practitioners with a guide to understand security sector reform. The GPU received copies of the handbook for distribution to journalists, and the GPU's chair for ethics claims there is a shortage of ethical reporting among journalists in the Gambia and is of the belief that the security sector reform guide will help improve understanding and ethics of journalists reporting of security sector reforms.
We must admit as media personnel that ethical standards are not followed the way that they are supposed to be followed all the time, and we need to adjust in this, especially when it comes to security sector reporting, security sector reform reporting. So I'll urge all of you to make best use of these materials so that we'll achieve the aims and objective to which this thing was provided for.
Given the country's past experiences of security matters, security sector reform continues to be part of government's promise to the people. The government's national security advisor says security reforms is the people's property and that journalists have a role to play in its success.
I am not standing in for security sector. I am standing in for a collective way we can all come together and support the security sector reform, and also note that without security, there cannot be any peace and stability. I think that nexus is very clear.
Government is expected to be transparent for effective scrutiny by the media in the best interests of citizens. The EU ambassador to the Gambia, Attila Laios, expresses his belief in transparency for good governance, saying that the media plays a significant role in reporting security reforms and that the media fulfills this obligation responsibly.
The improvement in government-media relations represents an opportunity for the media to contribute directly to the security sector reform process. Yet, for this purpose to be successful, media's participation in security sector discourse should be meaningful, constructive, and long-term.
As journalists, we have fundamental roles in peace building, understanding security sector reforms, and reporting on them ethically will also enable us to be effective in holding government to account on its promise to reform the security sector for sustainable peace and stability in the Gambia. Momodo Lamin Choi for QTV News.
We will go with a short commercial break, and when we return, we hear about a young woman who started her activism in support of women and children at a very young age. And we visit a skills center in Gunjur set up to help young women and girls who dropped out of school. Do stay tuned and join us after the break for these and more stories.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Driven by the passion to provide support to needy women and children, QTV Myths Fantasilla, who is using her advocacy work to bring about a change in Basse. Aliou Cisse spoke to her.
Fantasilla is a SOS child who started her advocacy work for children and needy families at the age of 13 while still at school. Based in Basse, she is using her activism to put smiles on the faces of the underprivileged in the region. Now aged 18, Fantasilla has the passion to promote education in schools and provide psychological support to patients in this region. She visits the Basse Hospital regularly to interact with and give hope to patients in the maternity ward. She has established a Fantas Charitable and Awareness Foundation.
I opened the foundation, but it is not yet registered. It is called Fantas Charitable and Awareness Foundation. It is meant to give out support to people that do not have that cannot afford for themselves. And secondly, it is also there to create awareness in the minds of people. Create awareness in the sense that I talk to people, especially students, about things that are affecting their lives, and so that they will know how to control it or find a way to support and control it. I talk to them about teenage pregnancy, gender-based violence, and the culture of silence and the way we can break it. So when I went to the school for school visiting to talk to students, I realized that some students didn't have school materials since school reopened. So what I came back to the members that are in my foundation, I spoke to them, and then we contributed, and I used part of my allowance, because I'm paid allowance at SOS. I used part of my allowance, or I can say almost all my allowance, to buy for them school materials. There were 5 female students. We bought for them school materials. I bought most of it, and then other people also contributed. We bought for them school materials, which is going to be presented to them on the 29th of this month.
She now uses her mega earnings at the SOS village in Basse to provide learning materials for the needy students.
Support vulnerable people. I come here to support patients. I act to them like an escort, or I come and give them psychological support, because some of them, when I come to the hospital, they're crying and stuff like that. I just make them feel calm, make them understand that it's part of life. Being sick isn't just something that's gonna continue. They're gonna feel well sometimes, and I get to meet so many friends here. I have a lot of friends that call me later. I even have 2 namesakes at the hospital here, so I get to meet them and make them feel comfortable. And sometimes some people come without escorts. I support them on bed. I move them from bed to bed, or give them support like bathing and stuff like that.
However, what she now needs is support from the public, including NGOs and civil society organizations.
What I would really like is people to come out and support me, because I cannot do it alone. The people that are out there to support me financially, or in any way that they can support to make it grow bigger, for me to help other people, for me to reach out to other people.
Among her plans is to organize a Kids Got Talent show to help raise funds to support vulnerable mothers and their babies. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
The Smile 2 Gambia Foundation recently inaugurated a new skill center at Gunjur village for young girls and women who dropped out of school. Maria Tussar has more.
The Smile 2 Gambia Foundation helps young girls, women and children to improve their living standards. 12 young girls, most of whom dropped out of school, have been selected to learn tailoring skills. Lamin Toure, supervisor of Gunjur Women's Garden, describes the project.
During last year, with my friendship with Marit, we talk about how we could support the rural adult women to do horticulture or gardening as a thing for development in our society. So we try to establish this in Gunjur, whereby the community also, they give us a big land that we have, and we are having about 210 women that are working in Gunjur Women's Garden. And Marit is trying to establish this project through sponsorship from Holland to Gunjur.
Aissatou Bojang, one of the girls learning tailoring skills, finished high school and later got married. She explains why she joined the center and her future plans.
I came to learn tailoring skill so that I can open my own tailoring shop in future to help myself, my parents and my country. The tailoring skill has many benefits because now I'm able to sew my own clothes without paying for someone to do it for me.
Ramu Jata is learning to be a tailor and has never been to a formal school. She says the skill training is quite effective. In rural communities, agriculture is one of the key activities people are engaged in. The Smile to Gambia Foundation also supports a woman's garden employing 210 women. The project is initiated to improve, develop and empower women in Gunjur. Sibi Demba, a gardener in Gunjur Women's Garden, explains how the project is helping them, as well as the challenges they face in the garden.
The garden is very important to us because we feed our families from what we get from here and also pay our children's school fees. We want the government to help because not everything should be done by foreigners. Sometimes, birds or other animals also spoil our crops.
The women grow fruits and vegetables which they sell to support themselves and their families. For many, it is helping them gain real financial independence. For QTV News, I am Maria Tussar.
Kiang Keneba emerged champions of the Yaya Cisse Memorial Tournament after defeating Jali on penalties following a 1-1 draw in regulation time. The competition is organized by Julafar Sports Association. Lamin Dabo reports.
A nerve-wracking penalty shootout was the decider after 90 minutes failed to separate the two villages in a fierce contest on the pitch. Sambulamin Samate's towering header in the 25th minute gave Jali the lead. But just 5 minutes into the second half, Babukar Jobate scored from a rebound to restore parity. In a post-match interview, the head coach of Jali, Yaya Saho, said he is highly impressed with his players' performances. However, he expressed dissatisfaction about the referee's officiating, which he claimed led to the equalizer.
The goal we conceded from Keneba here, I can attest to everybody and entire world that that ball is a plain offside. I am disappointed. I am disappointed in a sense that the level of Bass, Alassane Bass, we all know he's a elite referee in terms of Gambian football. Most especially now he's having a fever badge on his arm. I expect him to play a game professionally, maturely, than that of the type of game he played here today.
Keba Fati, the head coach of Kiang Keneba, says the victory was not a surprise as his team has been dominating football not only in Julafar Ward but throughout the district of Kiang West.
Actually we have this confidence that anytime we play with these people, we will always win our games. We never lose to them. And not only in Jali, but any team we played, it's just now that football is developing. So people are now coming up, but we are ever a champion in this field, in this area.
As winners, Kiang Keneba were giving a giant trophy and a cash prize of $30,000, and Jali as runners-up went home with a trophy and a cash prize of $20,000. For QTV News, Lamin Alajpan in Dabo.
Before we end this bulletin, let's take a quick look at our main stories. In today's news, we hear what happened when the president's nationwide tour made its way to Lower River region. We hear about a $12 million boost to education announced during the president's nationwide tour. As the TRRC sittings in Sibanor enter their final day, we hear more tales of witch hunting, including from a woman who was locked up in a police cell with her young baby. A guidebook on security sector reform for media professionals to foster an understanding among the media of security sector reforms and governance has been handed over to the GPU. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news. Thank you for watching.